So this is the test review, and the test is scheduled for Monday. I will give you some time to look over your notes or ask me questions. Now, this is about the time after the first test and after many quizzes that some people start to second guess whether they need to be in this class or not. A lot of times on the first test, you think I got this, don't study as much as you should, and then realize that maybe you didn't get it as much as you thought you did. So I always want to kind of give people through the second test and let's see how it goes. The retake for the first test will be next Wednesday and Thursday in EFA. So if anybody wanted to retake, you have to be here Wednesday, you have to be here Thursday. You can't come to me Thursday and say, oh, I forgot to come yesterday, can I come today and tomorrow? No, it is Wednesday and Thursday. So if that's something that you're thinking about, let me know. Okay, so get ready to write. All right, the first thing that you are going to have to do are adding and subtracting polynomials. Now, we did them quickly in class, so let me give you an example. So if I give you P of X and I give you R of X, okay, so one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to add them. So all you simply do is combine like terms. I don't have any other x to the fourth, so it stays 3x to the fourth. I add my 2x cubed plus my 1x cubed and get 3x cubes. I have no other x squares to add to this one, so it's just plus 2x squared. 5x plus 10x is 15x. Negative 7 plus 4 is negative 3. Now, I will tell you to store a value and check. And how you do that is you simply, in your calculator, don't do anything about P of X and R of X, store a value for X, type in this plus this, and get a number. And then type in this. If you get the same number, you know you have added them correctly. Okay? Everybody follow me on that one? All right. Now, the next one I've got a red box around. Okay? Because I feel like this is the one you'll miss. And it's not hard, and we shouldn't be missing it. But this is the one that you'll miss. The P of X minus the R of X. Now, if you had the P of X minus the R of X, now let me erase this and let me go back and write it. So your P of X is, now you can simply do 3x to the fourth, and we know that minus nothing. Then you can say 2x cubed minus x cubed will be 1x cubed. Okay? So I've got 3x to the fourth minus, no, 2x cubed minus 1x cubed is 1x cubed, positive 1x cubed. I have, now, guys, is this going to be 2x squared? Where we make one of our mistakes. Do I have any x squares in the first one? So, what am I putting down here? Negative 2x squared. Because there's 0 2x squares up here minus 2x squared is here. Okay? Now 5 minus 10 is negative 5x, and negative 7 minus 4 is negative 11. Yep, that's what I got. But let me show you the other mistake that you'll make. You'll write this out. And that's the way you'll write it. That's the way you'll type it in the calculator, and that way is wrong. What is wrong? What did I not do? I need to do what first? Yep. I need to put that in parentheses. Okay? And if I put that in parentheses, this is what I type in the calculator to check. This is what goes in first. But when you're subtracting, it's always good to put it in parentheses, even when you're adding, because it never hurts anything. But especially when you're subtracting a polynomial, you want to put this in parentheses so that the calculator will do the work for you. Now, if you were doing it by hand, right here before, I would change that to a plus, minus, 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 minus. But if you were to check this against your original, but if you've made a mistake putting your original in the calculator, then it's not going to matter. You're going to make mistake after mistake. So on the subtraction ones, please be careful. Okay. Second type of problem. Find the A, B, C, and R. Now I think y'all can do these in your sleep. Okay, we're tired of them. We've done enough of them. So, I had to run off the page on this, but one that looks like that. You can write it down if you want to. You know what they are. You've got the quiz. I'll give you a minute. Just write down the answers, and then you can always go back and check. This one was a little bit more complicated as it had fractions. My A was 3 over 2. You can always go back and watch this video if you want to see if you made a mistake. So write down the answers, and then you can come back and watch the video. I promise I will get it uploaded today. And you can see what the answers ought to be. Guys, can you know if you got this one correct? Yes. You can put in a number for X. Put in a number for X, check the left side, type in the right side with your A, B, C, and R, and they should come out to be the same. Okay. Third type of problem. Find the quotient and the remainder. Okay, so let me give you an example. ask you to find the quotient remainder when you have this. All right, we set up that the same exact way. Okay, I'm just going to go through and let you write down the answers. Go ahead and write down the answers now. If you want to do well on Monday's test, you'll give me 30 or 40 minutes over the weekend. I'm not asking for 2 hours. See the success over there? The iceberg? What people won't see is your dedication to your studying, your hard work this weekend, the discipline to do it, the disappointment that you may have gotten a couple wrong, the sacrifice that you didn't go somewhere you wanted to go so that you could study. The success is what they'll see, but you have to do all that underneath. When I'm asking for the quotient and the remainder, the red box is how I want it written. Do you know where the quotient came from looking at this problem? Do you see the A, B, C up here? All I did is I filled in the A, the B, and the C. That became my quotient. And then, of course, my remainder comes from right here. Can you check this one? How? Store value for X.
Original and then the quotient.
Type in the original, and then type in this. There could be another quick way that you might could check. It's not as 100% as that method, but is there another way that you can think of that would tell you, yeah, I probably did this correctly?
If you just type in that first one, if their answer is 25.
Type in what? X equals -2. And if the remainder is -25, the likelihood is that you got it correct. You'd have to make several mistakes to end up with the same, I'm not going to say that's foolproof, but the same remainder. Okay? All right. Everybody's got that down that needs it? All right. Number 4. One like number 4 from yesterday. That was in your book on page 16, I believe. Yeah, 16 in your P2 book. And also look on page 12 at 5, 7, and 9. Those were homework earlier this week. Now, guys, when something says that these are the factors, you know that the remainder is 0. Right? So you've got these notes from yesterday, correct? Set them up the way we know to set them up. These are the same notes from yesterday. Set it up the way we know to set it up. Solve, multiply it out, because that one is a factor. We don't put an R. What if I told you that x minus 1 had a remainder of negative 10?
So then just put -10.
You put minus 10.
Oh, question. Since if we're getting confused about all of the A's and the B's, since there's two different, can
You
you
can
change
do
A
E,
and
F,
B?
G, L, M, N, O, P. Yep, you can change it up. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, because this little A and the big A, sometimes that's confusing, or using the same A and A.
I just get lost.
I had a student last period, let me just say this, asked a really good question. We were getting down here to the second one. And he said, I thought C was -8. It was -8 in the first one. You can't bring anything down from the first problem and put it into the second. Okay? So I had to show him, no, this C right here has a completely different value. So make sure that you understand that you cannot bring any values from the top of the first equation that you work to the second. Okay? And so then we got simultaneous equations and got those answers. Now, let me ask you something. That was somebody that wanted the substitution method. What if I ask you to find all the roots of this problem? All the roots of, let me go back up here and find it. What if I asked you to find all the roots of that?
Factors of -8 over factors of 1.
You could. I can do it easier.
You probably like the other policy.
Okay? Listen to me. If I ask you to find A and B, and then I ask you to find all the roots, we know one of the roots is what? -1. But I ask you to and -2. So if I ask you to find all the roots, you plug your A and B back in here and put it in PolySolve. And if it is an x to the 4th, you need to do what? Okay? If it's an x to the 4th, well, we'll talk about it in a minute. You would do your factors of your constant over factors of your leading coefficient. So, if I asked you to find all the roots, you would put your A and B right here, and then do your PolySolve in your calculator. Has everybody got that needs it? All right. Write an equation in factored form. Now, we're talking about page 15 in your P2 book. We're going to look at that one. I'll let you write it down. The factored form. Can I use PolySolve on this? No. So I have to do exactly what Melanie just mentioned, and I have to list all my possible rational roots. Okay? To write an equation in factored form. So I list my factors of my constant. Remember, they're plus minus. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. All of those multiply to get 12. Over the factors of my lead coefficient, which is 1. So I've made that nice and neat for you. So there are your possible rational roots. Okay. So you're going to test all these numbers for a remainder of 0. So you test each one of those numbers, and yes, it takes a little bit, but at least you don't have to do it without your calculator. All right, I'm going to tell you, you can go back and work these, and it's in the book. I'm going to tell you that -1 was 1 root. -1 is a root. Okay? How will I write that in factored form? X plus 1. So your answer will look something like this. Okay. Any questions on writing an equation in factored form? All right. Solving quadratic inequalities. Hopefully I can get those back Monday so you can see them. And it would be best if you tried to take this quiz before the test so you know if you missed anything, okay? Okay, so something that looks like that. Now, guys, don't necessarily try to solve these. Find the ones in your book that look like these. I just threw up some examples. Okay? You would get your roots, which would be what? -2 and 5. And then you do your sign chart greater than the ones that are positive. Okay? Because I was looking over some of your quizzes and some of y'all are not doing the sign chart.
Is that what we do on one of the quizzes?
I think that, well, no, there is the discriminant on that one too. That's half of it. All right, another one may look like this.
Minus.
Yeah, it's a minus. And again, I don't know if this one even works out. It might be imaginary numbers, I'm not sure, but what would you have to do to this one? Move the 3 over, and then you could do your polysolve for your roots. And then check it on the number. Like again, I said I'm not sure. Your last type of problems are your modulus problems. And we're fixing to grade those.
Is there gonna be any discriminant?
No. So modulus problems that look like that. That's a 2. Okay, so I would take my P1 and P2 books home. Here are the chapters that they cover. So we're doing in the P2, the test will be on chapters 1 and 2. In the P1, it will be on chapter 5. So I would take my book, I would try to find similar problems and work 1 or 2 just to make sure you got it. If you read over this and you can do everything that I've asked you to do, You should have a good test grade. Alright, we're gonna grade some quizzes now.